Thank you. Michael Anderson, Chairman of Co-Invest. I have a question for Michael. Michael, I'd value your opinion of the rise of hedge funds around the world, particularly in the US, and their input into the increased volatility in markets around the world, and whether you think that is going to increase through those funds.
That's interesting. Yeah. Welcome.
Certainly hedge funds have come with a bit of a reputation, and any number of movies have I suppose, amplified that part of the story. But I mean, there are many sources of volatility in financial markets, and the rise of hedge funds are really only one of those. I mean, there's been plenty of other drivers. We hear a lot of talk now about algorithmic trading, this kind of high frequency trading that's being done by computers, and no human hand involved, and so on. And the scope for that to add to volatility, and we're developing new terminology, flash crashes and the like, where this sort of trading can push markets a long way very quickly in one direction or the other. Equally, you can look at the other side and argue that these new players are actually adding liquidity to financial markets at a time where some of the traditional players are becoming a lot more cautious, either on their own volition or because regulators around the world are forcing those market players to be a lot more cautious in what they do. So I think we can always point to some areas where we're going to see an increase in volatility come through. Hedge funds, I think, from time to time have certainly contributed to that. But what you don't hear about, of course, is the time when they're probably helping to smooth out some of that volatility as well.
I just want to add to that, actually, about hedge funds. My institute is partly financed by some hedge fund managers in New York. Matt McLennan in particular, who manages the First Eagle Global hedge fund out of New York, manages $95 billion, an Australian, an alumnus from UQ. And interesting, we were having a chat with him the other week, and he was saying productivity, really, we're looking at scale. You know, you look at manufacturing, you see you can make enormous gains. When people talk about innovation, sure, entrepreneurship, small businesses, but those larger traditional businesses, the ones that already at a scale, are the ones in which he invests in. And I would see that adding some stability rather than more unpredictability. Amanda, any comment?
Yeah, no, I would certainly agree with that point. I think for us, as I was trying to describe, really the opportunity has been as much in the space of looking at our current operations and figuring out where the productivity benefits are, as in finding new innovative products, for example.
Okay, any other questions? There's a couple down here. Yes.
Oh, hi, Sue Davies, La Trobe University. Amanda, just wanted a comment from you on the what Mondelez does and the importance, I suppose, of industry and tertiary university engagement in that research and entrepreneurial space. Your centre at Ringwood, I think you've been doing some reduction, perhaps in some investment in research areas, but is that because you're reaching out to do more with universities, or just some comments on that?
Yeah, so I think the focus on innovation, as I described, has been really important in our overall transformation. And certainly we see the opportunity to collaborate sort of ever more broadly, if you like. So the Innovation Centre has enabled us to drive the innovation culture through our business, but it's actually been the collaboration which has really helped us to build further out insights. So working with the SMEs, as I described, but we're also obviously working with the Australian Research Council. We also have a great partnership with the University of Melbourne, and we really welcome those as ways of really expanding our thinking and generating much further out insights, which we see as important to really anticipate the future, honestly, and start building towards that.
Okay. I think we've got time for one more question.
Thanks.
Yes.
Just Joseph Carenza, Arab Consulting Engineers and Designers. Amanda, thank you for that presentation. That was really inspiring, actually. But I'd be interested to understand your commitment to innovation. And can you talk a little bit about changing culture, which is really important, and how you might have done that, but also your investment strategy in innovation and how you've measured the return on that investment.
So, I mean, I think changing culture is an ongoing opportunity and challenge. As I've tried to describe, the opportunity with innovation was really to bring fresh thinking in from the outside and take that across our entire operation as a means of catalysing a different way of thinking about the business that we're in. Integrated Lean Six Sigma as an approach has also been a huge enabler of cultural change, particularly in our manufacturing plants, really by changing the way we think about leadership and you know, who's owning the assets and who's best placed to understand what's not working and where the opportunities are to do better. So I think, you know, innovation and integrated Lean Six Sigma have been big enablers for us of progressing the culture. In terms of our investment strategy around innovation, as I described, innovation has always been critically important to us in terms of fueling growth. We're aiming to be between 10 and 15% of our annual revenue coming from innovation. So there's an obvious case for investment there. When it comes to innovating around technology, we do have to make a case that delivers a financial return. Sometimes what we do, therefore, is, just because of the scale challenge we have here, we might start off bringing innovations in from other parts of our global network. When we've built them to scale here, we're then able to make the case for local investment. So, for example, in a couple of months' time, we have a huge innovation coming, which is actually one of the biggest we've ever done. We're very excited about it, and that actually has come directly to the Australian business. We have about a $4 million investment in one of our biggest chocolate manufacturing plants to enable us to do that. And we're able to do that straight up because of the scale that we can get off the innovation. But as I say, sometimes it has to be a two-staged approach.
Okay, just one more final question if anyone's got one. Yes, sir, just down there. There's a mic just coming behind.
My question again to you, Amanda. You talked about the need for us all to improve the diversity in our workforce and get more women into engineering and science. My name's Ian Pitcher from AECOM, and we're very focused on that objective as well. But I'd be interested in your thoughts about how industry can continue to improve the pipeline of graduates that we're seeing come through that are female through that process.
Yeah, no, thank you for the question. I think it's really important, actually, for us to help in that process. Certainly what we felt the need to do was to actually start partnering, as I described, with the University of Melbourne. We co-developed a master's in innovation in food and packaging, for example, precisely for that reason. I think it's key for us to offer as many opportunities as we can for graduates to come in and work with us. And again, we have a program doing that at the moment. But then I think the other thing is really more broadly in the diversity space, really publicising, I suppose, and encouraging more women as a start point actually for broader inclusiveness, encouraging more women to think about jobs in industries like ours. We are certainly running a big diversity and inclusion program. I actually chair the panel for the region that's focused on that, and we're very focused on having a clear commitment to some targets actually about gender diversity and holding ourselves accountable to that throughout the entire organisation, senior management to factory floor. Also being very open about our commitment to flexible working and making sure that's visible and real. And then the other thing that we're doing is mentoring female talent right across the region now as a means of, again, just building role models so that we can actually show that we are a place that builds and that welcomes and develops women and more diverse talent and growing from there. So I think there's a number of steps, but it's going to be a long build, I guess.
Okay, I'm going to have to close that down. Can I just thank Michael and Amanda very much for their presentations and also the Q&A. I think there's some great issues that were raised. Can we just show our appreciation?